Welcome, everybody. This is the EdTech Crew, a special edition of the EdTech Crew, episode 147 in world in Begonia Islands. And here with me, as always, is Darrel, the ICT guy. How are you, Darrel?
Excellent this morning, Tony. Looking forward to the podcast. Really appreciate the effort that's gone into all of the in-world creation. And we're going to have a little chat to Tess Starr later on, who actually helped build some of this set. So I'm really looking forward to it. We had a few technical issues so far this morning with an OpenSim crash and a few things like that. But looks like we're up and about at the moment. So that's great.
Yeah, it does. It's and thank you to Lucy Barrow, who's done an amazing job getting this organised. And for those people that are listening, if you're listening after the event, John Wilson from I think it's Online Services in the UK from Scotland is actually recording, and there'll be a feed of this available that you can go and watch because it's worth actually having a look at, Darrel.
Yeah, it's onlinevents.co.uk, and apparently John does this all the time, so we appreciate his work on this as well, Tony. And if I just give people a little bit of an idea, that if people are just listening on the podcast, we're sort of, what would we be, Tony, 150 metres, 200 metres up in world. We've got a bit of a platform and a hole through the middle of the floor where people come up to see us, and we've got a few banners with the EdTech Crew contributors and EdTech Crew interviewees. And then we've got some fantastic work from lots of the other schools that do work in world using virtual environments. So we're actually going to have a chat to Lucy later on, and she's going to talk about some of that stuff. But Tony, I was very impressed. There's a little squid sitting over there to your right, and if you go over to the squid and type into the chat, type jump, the squid jumps up. And if you're actually the owner and you say come here, the squid will actually follow you. And the reason that's impressive is that Lucy's done all that using the Scratch for OpenSim, that work of Eric Rosenbaum, the Scratch to OpenSim project. So that was just awesome when I saw that. I thought it was pretty cool stuff. Have you had a chance to have a look?
I only went over and had a quick look and a bit of a view before, but I'm keen to explore more. Now, Darrel, I guess this is going to mean you might be using virtual worlds more and getting them to build avatars and Scratch programming.
That's right. Well, if I can get the engagement of the virtual worlds and get a bit of programming, sneak a bit of programming in there for the kids as well, I'm all over it.
Yeah. Now, we have to say, this is a very impressive environment, Darrel. We've got a desk and we've got stuff up to thank people that we'll talk about more in the show, and it's really good, isn't it?
It's pretty impressive. There's some Christmas angels. There's some lots of boxes of presents, and Tess was even kind enough to create a coffee mug for us, Tony, little angels, and a little placard saying who we are. So that was pretty good. And did you notice over to your right again, one of the students has actually got a model of RTD2 in there as well.
Yeah, no, I did see that, and I have to apologise, Darrel. I think I'm, apart from my shoes, my head, the rest of me is all naked. So and there's someone flying up in the top there, Darrel. I'm not sure if you can see them, but we won't let those distractions get to us. Hey, Darrel, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, lately, basically had a bit of an Ultranet conference, a bit of a workshop for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. And apart from that, I've just been getting ready for the first 3 days back, Tony. The first 3 days back are going to be flat out. I've got 6 half-day Ultranet sessions, so I need to do a fair bit of work there. And we're working with teachers, and hopefully we're not going to have any difficulties. Hopefully it's all going to go smoothly, and people are going to get on and start using the Ultranet for effective work with students, Tony. But what have you been up to?
Oh, I've got to blame Dean Groom. I've been sucked into the world of Warcraft.
You've been wowing.
I have, and as a Wargren down in Gilneas, I actually start to these things register and comprehend with me now, Darrel. So I've been sucked in a little bit, and I have to extract myself away from it because there's a few things I have to do. But I've just been catching up on a whole heap of Web 2 tools and a whole heap of things, and planning all my activities for the holiday break. So
cool. So what are the Web 2 tools you're exploring at the moment?
Oh, where do we start? There's one called Wigio. I think that's pronounced.
Yeah, like a website tool, or groups.
No, it's like a groups tool. It's a little bit. I think you could equate it a little bit like Edmodo. More of an online communication environment that you can actually make for a certain group.
It's a bit Ning-like.
Yeah, I'm not sure I think it's more around synchronous communication as well as,
Okay.
the
Yep.
asynchronous. But I really don't know, Darrell. That's part of one of the tools that I want to have a look at. So there's a few of those. And just planning time to make sure I get a good balance between World of Warcraft, the Web 2 tools, and spending time with my wonderful family.
Yeah. So what are you laughing at? I noticed Dean Grooms entered the virtual world. He was telling me that he might even pull out his Darth Vader costume. So look out for that if you see that.
Yeah, well, I got a special view of Lucy's Darth Vader costume the other day, and that was pretty impressive.
And you can't even manage to get the EdTech Crew T-shirt on, Tony.
No. Well, I went and saw Tron last night, and I was thinking, wow, it'd be good to have a Tron uniform for in here, but I don't have the skills to build one. Yeah, I think they've tried to make it really deep in terms of thinking. The visuals are just amazing. It'll do a huge job, but it almost tries to become a little bit too deep. I'm still actually processing it all. It's a very good movie in terms of the visuals, and I saw Tron all those years ago, and I went with my son, and we certainly liked it.
Yep. So really good on the CGI, the graphics.
Yes, very good. Now, Darrell, we need to keep moving today because we've got a bit of a shortened time frame. We can't just ramble on like we normally do. As much as
we've got to try and fit it in the hour at least.
Yeah, I know. Now, Darrell, one of the things, if people aren't in the world today, there's a whole wall which has got a whole range of materials or actual examples of work from other people all over the world, I believe. And Lucy, who's helped put us all together, has been part of putting that together. How are you, Lucy?
Hi, Tony. Hi, Darrell. How are you going?
Excellent, Lucy. Look, we really appreciate all the work that you've done for this. The set just looks awesome, and to have the kids' work is fantastic as well, and to have kids actually help build the set, it's awesome.
Thanks very much. It's been a big effort. Unfortunately, the students were really keen to be involved a little bit more, but just with the end of year school things that go on at this time, it's always a little bit more difficult to get them involved as much as they wanted to be. But we've done our best to transfer across some of their work from our private grid, and also we're very, very grateful for the schools that contributed some work as well, and they're the images, the screenshots that you can see now up on the live stream.
They look great. You've got Hewitt School, Thornley West Primary School, Ballarat Grammar, and I can't quite get up to see the ones at the top. That's why I've been jumping. I've been trying to get up there. Maybe I'll have to fly.
Yeah, there's Northern Beaches Christian School as well, and I'm sorry, from the live stream I can see that one of the boxes in the top right corner, I don't think the textures come through, but that's okay. Now, just to let you know that we're having a few technical problems here, so if my Skype line, if that does drop out, you know what's happening. So we'll just continue as best we can.
All right, excellent. I'm actually up the top of the billboard at the moment, having a look. Did you want to explain what some of the work's about? Hello, I think we just lost.
I think Lucy was a portent to her own problem there.
Yes, yeah. Well, what we are looking at are some virtual worlds, and they look great. So we'll get Lucy back shortly, and we'll have a chat about it then. Now, Tony, you put out a survey, or you tweeted out a little Google form about some holiday ICT. Can you tell us a little about what you've been up to with that?
Yeah, no, what I thought I'd do, Darrell, because every time this, I guess this time of year, you and I get excited, one, because it's holidays, but two, we get to spend time with our families, but three, we also get to spend time on, I guess, the little pet projects or activities that, we may have put up all year and think, okay, I want to get stuck into it, or this is my plan, and I'm taking a punt that most of our listeners, or a large percentage of our listeners, probably do the same. So we put out a quick survey just to find out over the Christmas period. We asked two questions. Over the Christmas period, what were you looking at doing in terms of ICT tools to play and explore and test? And I thought I'll throw in a second question with that and ask them, when they actually do it, how much, when they set that goal to go and have a go with those activities, do they achieve it, 100% of the time, 75% of the time, 50% of the time, and so on? So these are some of the...
Bit of a strike rate.
Yeah, just to see if people actually achieve what they set out to do, which is... Because I'm normally about the 25%. I always get... I have these great plans, but I come across other things that tend to take my time away, or I just really enjoy the holidays and think, bugger it,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to get involved in tech for a little while.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I get all the books, get all the videos I want to watch, get all the projects organised that I want to do. And if I probably thought about it, I'd probably only have enough time for one of the big projects, let alone 5 or 6. So my strike rate's not real flash either.
No, yeah. Well, Darrel, this is, and these are some of the things that people go back to. We had one feedback from someone in the Northern Territory who's looking at putting out 700 plus iPads, and they're exploring apps as possibles to get it going. They didn't actually give a time frame for the rollout, but good luck with that. It's, I think it'd be a fairly big job, and there's lots of schools down here that have done amazing work, and even in, I guess certainly in my Digo links at digo.com/user/IT made simple. There are lots of links to iPad schools or iPad sites. So,
and if you do the Vic trial, the Victorian Education Department's got a trial, and I think that's Adam Bryce's school, which is North. It's
Ringwood North, yeah.
Ringwood North, and his Apples for Kids podcast, and Jenny Ashby at Epsom. They're all blogging about their experiences and how they're going with iPads in the classroom. So hopefully he'll pick up a bit of that around the web and have some fun with those deploying 700 iPads. Big job.
Yeah, it is, and it'll be interesting to hear, because Ringwood Secondary, Darrel, is I think all Year 7s next year are getting an iPad, so they're looking to move across and put their textbooks, I believe, onto it. So I'll be keen to hear how that development goes, but we'll keep moving because we don't want to get caught in the iPad show.
Just one point on that. One thing he did mention was to use the iPad as a creation device, not just a consumption device. And I think that's it's good to hear all of our teachers that are thinking about iPads are really thinking about how to transform the curriculum rather than just digitise it and do the same old, same old. So good on him or her. I don't know who.
Yeah, I think it could be a her. I'm not sure. We actually made an anonymous survey, Darrel.
We did. Actually, some names on these would have been good.
Yeah. Now, other things that people said of exploring World of Warcraft. Yep, I'm there with that one. The Ultranet has got a couple of mentions.
It has got a few. A few people are trying to get their head around Release 2 and set up some collaborative spaces so they're right to go with their classes next time. It's interesting. One person just said Ultranet and Release 2 learning tasks. I think they want to do something a bit more exciting than that, but each to their own. Or maybe I've had a year of it. I'm over it.
I think you might be over it. But there's also Edmodo, and we had some smart bugger get in there, Darrel, and say they wanted to build a whole heap of tools and functions to help out IT Made Simple. Yes, I'm not sure who that would have been.
I think it said Darrel at the end, but it said, I want to program the IT Made Simple web bot. A web bot, and its main role will be add every Twitter account known to man, because your numbers are still up, Tony?
Oh, yeah, I still keep, I keep slashing and culling, but I always keep finding other people, so yeah.
Yeah, so staying about the same, yeah.
Yeah. There's also, some people looking at Lego Mindstorms, learning Kodu. We've had a couple of people say catching up and back catalogue of the EdTech crew. Good luck with that. You'll get bored of us by the time you finish that. There's also, looking at OneNote and
there's a little bit about QR codes as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to have a look at over the break is playing around with QR codes and also tying that in with geocaching, Darrel. I've got a couple of new tools to test out with geocaching, so I'll give that a bit of a run. Yeah,
well, I was reading Dean's blog the other day, Dean Groom, and he was talking about, the Google URL shortener, which is, I think it's goo.gl. You can also get a QR code for each of your URLs. So I actually used it the other day when we had a bit of a Kris Kringle. Instead of giving, I made up these cards and used the QR codes to go to different websites and have a bit of fun with that. So that's a nice, easy way to get a QR code happening.
That's a good idea. With the Kris Kringles at schools that you normally have or workplaces, you could be really mischievous and actually create a geocaching one around the school for them to follow.
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
It would be. That's a good idea, Darrel. Oh, okay, so you can do that with your kids as well. But people are looking at Prezi, Animoto, Glog. So a lot of these things are out there, and it's good to see people having a bit of an explore.
Yes, for sure. All that sort of the Web 2 stuff. And someone was looking at getting into the Galaxy Tab. It looks a little bit on the pricey side for the size, but Android on a tablet, I reckon it'd be good to check out.
Yeah, it will be. Now, Darrell, I was impressed. The majority of our users said they would stick to what they said around 75% to 100% of the time, which is much better than what I would do.
Yes, same with me.
Now, Darrell, I believe we've got Lucy back in. Hopefully Lucy's back here again.
Hiya, Tony. Hi, Darrell. Back.
Excellent.
Fantastic, Lucy. Hey, Lucy, we're just going to get you a few chance. Are you able to talk about some of the activities that some of the schools that have sent in examples of the work might have been doing?
Yes, love to do that, and I'll be as quick as possible just in case Skype drops out again. In particular, we've got some work up there from the Hewitt School in New York with a fabulous teacher by the name of Eric Nauman. He's opened Blackboard on Twitter. He does extraordinary things. As you can see, his students have done everything from building the Parthenon to drama projects where they reenact Alice in Wonderland. And he's been a fabulous influence on what we have done. Eric's also responsible for the incredible Mars Sim project as well, and creating the Mars terrain. So you can find out more about his projects from his blog, and I'll make sure that I get the links to you, Tony and Darrell, for your show notes. It would be great to include that. Some other people who do incredible work are the Mac ICT group, which is a part of Macquarie University, and they have schools visiting them, especially to do virtual worlds activities. So that's the images that you can see from Thornley West Primary School to do with their learning spaces activities. So the kids actually designed their own learning spaces in OpenSim and came up again with some fabulous designs. Northern Beaches Christian School, they conducted a carnival in OpenSim as well. So there's a screenshot up there of the fabulous work that the students did to not only organise it, but to actually create and build the things that they needed for their carnival. And hopefully if Steve Collis is around, he'll actually speak a little bit more about what they've done. And finally, there's just some images of what our own school's been doing. So a couple of our projects. Our most recently completed project was for our extension maths class that we have in Year 5, where they made their own crop circles as part of geometry, and they were actually aliens in world, and it was just so funny to see them, these little sort of different coloured avatars walking around, and they created their beautiful crop circle patterns. They did a wonderful job. I've also got a shot up there. One of our students is here today, Tess Starr, as she's known online, and she loves building. She's got her own plot of land on our private grid, and she's got her own house and all sorts of things that she has created.
That's great. That's fantastic. All that. Would we, Lucy, while your Skype connection's up, would we be able to have a chat with Tess Starr?
Tess Starr's here at the moment, Tony and Darrell, so she's quite happy if you want to have a chat to her, and while the Skype connection's going well, it might be a good idea.
That'd be excellent. Well, I'd like to introduce Tess Starr, who is, I think she's grade 4 at Ballarat Grammar, and she built many of the props for our set, the angels, the Christmas trees. I'm not sure if she did the presents or not, but welcome, Tess. How are you?
Good, thank you.
You're
That's
welcome,
excellent.
Tess.
Now, Tess, did I get that right? Are you grade 4?
Yeah, I am.
Great.
Tess has just finished Year 4, so she's just turned 10 years old, so she's going into Year 5 next year.
Now, Lucy, just on that, I lifted the veil of secrecy this morning as my son came in before he went to school, and I think he's very excited at coming in and joining. He wants to start building in your world already. He said, "Can I build in there?"
Oh, you tell him yes, he can. That's the beauty of having a public area as well on ReactionGrid, is that we can invite people obviously from anywhere outside our school. So we have the private grid, which is just for our school community, but we also have the public area as well, so that people from all over the world can join us. That's the whole idea.
And I guess that's a really good point, Lucy, that, if anyone's listening to the show, and, for us, this whole immersion in virtual worlds has been an eye-opener, but I've certainly learned a lot and want to get more involved. So if there's anyone out there, either contact Lucy or contact us, and I'm sure we can provide the details. And it's very easy to get into the in-world and get started and have a bit of an explore. But it's always better to do it with someone else, isn't it? But I'll let Darrel have a chat to Tess.
Yeah. Tess, all this wonderful stuff you've been doing, and I know that you've been doing projects at school. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you like about using virtual environments for your learning, like using your OpenSim? Are you still there, Tess? Oh, we've lost them, Tony.
We might have lost them.
That's all right. We'll jump straight back in. When Tess and Lucy come back online, we will grab them then. Now, Tony, we were talking about the holiday ICT projects, and if you have a look in the chat, we've got a few people in the chat at the moment. The X&A as a progression from Kudu, and I think that was Ben Paddle-Jones. He's having a look at the X&A, which is a Microsoft development platform, so to move on from Kudu. And Wes Warner, I think it's Wes Warner, who I think is IC Teach on Twitter. He was telling me that he's going to have a look at Alice, and that was actually one of my holiday projects, Tony. I was going to have a look at Alice, which is the 3D sort of programming environment, and it's sort of a nice, easy way to get into sort of Java classes and all that sort of thing. So I'm having a look at that over the holidays, except I've had 3 goes at trying to download it, and I get to about 300 megabytes of the 351 megabyte download, and it drops out. But anyway, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, and just while we're talking about that, Darrel, I have to say, last week we were talking about the Connect device, and Ben, through Twitter, pointed me to a site that we'll put up on the show notes, which has got a collection of all the innovative activities that are occurring with the Connect device. We talked about a couple of them, but there's a website that's kind of done a good job of bringing them all together. But I see Lucy and our other guest speaker, Tess, are back online, Darrel, so I'm just going to drag them in.
Excellent. See how we go.
Yeah. I was going to play with my 2 games to play with over the holidays are Atmosphere and Minecraft.
Okay. Atmosphere 3D gaming platform that we spoke about with Dean?
We have, yeah, we have. And Minecraft's that one that's in, I think it's in alpha at the moment, with that guy in Europe who's developed it and has just gone gangbusters, and looks really interesting, and a bit of a, I guess a new world to go and explore and build it.
Yeah, great. Now, Tess, are you back with us at the moment?
Yes, I am.
Sorry about that. We lost you for a moment. I was just going to ask you the question about what do you like about using OpenSim and virtual environments for your learning. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I think it's very good to use virtual environments for learning because you can express your creativity a lot. And I've made my own house and things, and I'm still finishing it at the moment, and I've got like 2 halves of a backyard, and they're really big and stuff, and like when you've got large amounts of space, you can do whatever you want and just create whatever you want, really.
And Tess really likes to create her own fashion as well. So because she's 10 years old and maybe perhaps actually having her own sewing machine and going out and buying the real material and sewing the real life clothing could be a bit of a challenge, she's actually been able to follow that passion of hers for fashion by creating her own virtual fashion. So that's another thing that she really enjoys as well.
Excellent. Tess, you should have, we could have used you this morning because Tony was a little bit underdressed this morning, but so we'll have to see if we can find some clothes for him. Can you talk a little bit, Tess, about how this is sort of different from other regular classes you do? Sort of what makes it better and how is it sort of different?
Yep. Well, the first thing that pops into my head when you said that was probably just actually like being in a virtual environment, because you can't do that when you're in a normal class. You usually just have to sit at the desk or sit on the ground and do the work. When you're in a virtual environment, you can fly, you can run, you can jump, you can dance. There's a lot of different movements and stuff that you can do to get to other places. And it's very different because you get to build whatever you want.
Great. And you're very good at building, because I saw that the best I could do was one of those rectangular prism billboards and with a bit of text on it, but you've got curly Christmas trees and angels and all sorts of things. So So, Tess, what are some of the projects that you've done on Begonia Island?
Well, I made up sort of my own project, and it was a project just to make my own house and everything. And Lucy actually gave me the idea, so it was very, very good. I still haven't finished it yet, though, but I'm still going well. And I obviously participated in this project. And Mum actually... Oh, sorry! Lucy!
Yes, what did Lucy say?
Oh no, the secret's out.
The secret's out.
Sorry.
What were you going to say, Darrel? Keep going.
Well, Lucy made the Christmas trees, and the gift boxes were based on a gift box that I did. There's a one with blue polka dots and a purple sort of background, and that was a gift box that I created from a website on the internet.
Yeah, there's actually some fabulous resources out there. So basically, Tess just went to this particular website that had all these different instructions for building all sorts of items, and she found the gift box and she said, oh, that looks fantastic. And she followed the instructions and she was able to come up with the gift boxes, and they've obviously come in really handy. We also like a Christmas angel at the top of the tree, which I think Tess has done a lovely job at doing. And the thing that we love about the building side of it too, Tony and Darrel, is that the students, there's so much problem solving involved in it. Even just looking at a particular shape and saying, well, how can I create that Christmas angel? Well, it's a sphere, it's a cone. You know, they really have to go through some...
Well, I think we might have just lost them there.
We just lost them again, but that was an interesting conversation. And obviously it's a fascinating world for Tess, and it seems to... it gives her a lot of freedom, Tony, to pursue the sort of interests and passions and be creative in a space. Yeah, so it sounds pretty cool.
And for a lot of our listeners too, Darrel, like with our show notes, we posted up the notes for Tess to, I guess, prepare, and she's actually gone and written almost a whole essay in terms of her answers.
It's funny that because some of the people we have on like to actually, we put up the questions, and some of them actually fill them in like it's like their online notes, and Tess has actually come in and wrote quite a bit answering some of the questions that we were going to do today. So obviously it's not affecting her literacy skills. She's got an authentic purpose for her writing, and she's done a great job here. Yeah.
Not only in terms of the way she was speaking about it, but also the written form of answers to the questions we've got here as well. So, yeah, well done to Tess Starr and Lucy.
Yeah. Now, Tony, it's hard to know which place to concentrate on here. We've got the show notes up. We've got a nice chat happening, and it's whizzing past, and we've also got John in line with the camera doing everything, so it looks fantastic. But a few other people before, I think Riss said she was going to have a go at Kudu, and there was also lots of conversation around the ReactionGrid by the look of it, and we've got Sue there as well, Sue Tapp, so that's great.
Yeah, it is, and thank you for all those people that have taken the time out to come and listen and join us today. It's a bit of a new step forward, and Lucy's and Ballarat Grammar have helped organise the live feed and that going out, so thank you very much to them.
Now, Tony, did you want to see if we could grab Steve Collis or Dean Groom, who was in line, and see if we can ask him what he's up to for his holiday ICT project?
Yep, I'm just going to drag Steve in now, so hopefully we get Steve in. It'll be calling him now. I think we might have Steve on the line. How are you, Steve?
Hey, I'm well. Can you hear me okay, guys?
Yeah, that sounds good, Steve.
You're spot on, Steve. Welcome, and welcome into this world. I guess this is nothing new for you.
Well, no, I guess not, but it's still really exciting. It feels like this is pretty much the Christmas party, isn't it? It's fantastic.
I guess it's the EdTech Crew Christmas party online, so, yeah, very excited. Now, Steve... Lucy pointed out that there's an example of some of the work that your students have been doing. Are you able to talk a little bit about what they do in the virtual worlds and the example that we've got here?
Yeah, sure. That's Borelli Carnivale, and it's not a bad example of one of the things which happens in our virtual world, because it was completely the idea of the students. They approached me and said they wanted to run a kind of event. and they'd heard, I think, Sydney Carnivale being thrown around. They didn't really know what a Carnivale was, but they wanted one. And so they just sprang into action and ran it themselves. So they created all of the stuff you can see on the poster there, so tables and balloons, and then even a rocket ship, which was supposed to blast off the world into outer space. So they advertised it and got people to come along. There weren't heaps of people there. I think we had 8 or 9 students show up for the celebration, but it was a lot of fun, and they automated some balloons to come down at a certain moment. We had a fashion parade, and then we all got into the spaceship, and a year 8 boy had programmed it and hit the go button, and bang, we were off into the atmosphere, and then I think it reached the a ceiling eventually, and we all sort of fell back to the ground. But a really good example of something that was not teacher driven; it was completely student driven. No one asked these kids to do it, but they're gaining all kinds of skills in the process. So lots of fun.
Oh, that's fantastic, Steve. And and I think in the chat room there's been a bit of conversation about people probably getting more interest, and you're happy for people to contact you directly, aren't you, Steve, to explore ideas or even just to get some help and assistance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd be delighted to hear from people and to help out.
Yeah, excellent. Hey, Steve, we've got a couple of holiday questions up. We thought we'd ask you one, which is, what's the highlight of your year, and what are you looking forward to next year?
Yeah, so highlight for the year would have to be working with the Skill Associates at my school. So this is a voluntary group of any teacher who wants to meet up, and we throw ideas around, and then we take part in the conversation online. And Friday afternoons is when we meet. It's completely opt-in, so if people are tired, they just go home. And I've just been gobsmacked by how many staff have shown up, and they've really inspired me with what they're doing, because they're really, really busy and exhausted. But we've really bounced off each other and energized each other this year, and that's been really good and really encouraging for me. There's something really nice about it being opt-in. Like, I reckon so much at school is obligation, because you've got to do the reports by such and such a date. You've got to have your programs in. There's all of this paperwork to do. So to have something that's completely voluntary, and it's a passion, and it's you do it for the joy of it, that's been a really good antidote to the kind of institutional rhythms of school. Yeah, so that's been fantastic. And who knows what these colleagues of mine will come up with next. So I feel really privileged to work with them.
Yeah, it's excellent. I always talk about having a captive audience. If you've got to go and do a staff demo or a professional development, quite often it is a captive audience. It's a whole different feel when they come of their own choosing.
Yeah, cheese and chalk. And so, absolutely, you've nailed it. That's right. Yeah.
Now, what are you looking forward to, Steve?
There's a couple of really exciting things next year that I'm not directly involved with, but I'll certainly have a hand in, and I'll be involved with, on an informal basis. But I'm just so excited that my school has had the guts to get rid of textbooks. And this is just happening in 3 year groups, years 5, year 8 and year 11 next year. And with the money saved from the parents, because they don't have to buy textbooks, every student will just get a personal computer. So maybe an iPad, or maybe a little netbook, or maybe a laptop, whatever they want, and they'll look after it. But it's been really exciting this year. Just every faculty getting used to it. How do you teach science without any textbook, or maths? How do you teach maths without a textbook? So that's going to take the pedagogy of the school in some really exciting ways, in really exciting directions. And I can't wait to see just how that pans out. The other thing is, just the last day of school, school had finished, but I went in the other day, and just seeing that there's this building where they've taken a sledgehammer to all of the walls. And so that's really good. It's another of it's part of a theme at our school of turning lots of classrooms into big open spaces. And there's this this space where there's just wood all over the place and rubbish, and they're just destroying all of the boundaries between the rooms in that building to create one big open space. And to me, that's so metaphoric and so symbolic of where we're going. So I can't wait to see what happens there next year.
Well, it sounds like 2011 is going to be a very interesting year for you, and we'll follow along with the journey because it's going to be interesting getting rid of textbooks and be exciting with the new learning spaces and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Steve, we'll have to get you back on because I was at a school the other day, and we won't do it today, but they were looking down this track, and one of their challenges was they couldn't understand the whole removing, of textbooks and that whole issue, and we won't go into it now, but I guess that'll be something that'll be a lot of schools will want to talk about, and we'll have to follow that up with you next year. So
yeah, it would be a good topic for a panel.
Yeah, I'd love to give you a status update as we go, and I think to a certain extent we'll all just make it happen somehow as we go, and discover how to do it as we go. But we'll see.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining us today.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Happy Christmas.
Thanks, Steve. Same to you.
See you, mate. Excellent. It's good, Darrel, just to hear that. Now, we've got a part of what we've also done, Darrel, is a bit of a year in review. Of what we've kind of covered through the year. Some of it actually makes for a little bit of entertainment, Darrel. I was going through last night and having a look.
It does. I left you at 10 o'clock last night, and you had one heading called the year in review, and I've come back today, and you've got about 20 dot points. So you must have had a late night, Tony.
Oh, it wasn't too bad. It was quite entertaining going through and following them all up. But
number one.
Yeah, do you remember
Asparagus was, and I do remember, and I did have to look it up just to check, and it was that cloud.
And have you seen any?
I saw some pictures on Flickr this morning when I was just checking if I was right or not.
Okay, I'm still looking. I haven't seen any live yet, but yeah, certainly remember that one. We've got a couple of things in there. Now, Darrel, this year, we've had the iPad and there's been filtering. We've already talked about the Alternet to Death, which is, something that's happening in Victoria. So all our international listeners would have no idea when we talk about the Alternet, but it's just basically a large system for Victorian schools here.
Large online learning management system, and the two products it's based on one is LifeRay, the LifeRay portal, liferay.com will get you there, and the Oracle Student Learning, which is OSLs. And I think they've done some work in Western Australia and other states as well, but they're the two products that is a bit like our learning platform, just like Queensland's got their learning platform based around their SharePoint stuff.
Yeah, which we talked to Ashley and Shane the other week.
Shane the other day, that's right. And YouTube introduced a safe mode this year, Tony?
They did. Still a lot of people don't know about it because they do a very good job of hiding it down the bottom of the page. Typical Google.
Yes.
But, we've lots of things. Cyber safety, the one-to-one lawsuit about spying in laptops, and
that's right. That was the cameras that got switched on remotely.
Yeah.
Yes. In America.
Yeah, in one of the school districts, which was quite interesting. And I think last time I caught up with that, it appeared that they weren't going to get in as much trouble as previously thought. But I could be completely making a mistake in saying that. But we were also introduced to some new terms, Darrel, that we hadn't come across before.
Brendan O'Brien, weaponized email.
Yes, and I think
it's pretty hard to work that into a conversation, though.
It is. And I'm not sure. I think it was Dean. Was it Dean?
No, it was Steve.
Steve, yeah. Bog of inefficiency.
The bog of inefficiency, because Steve's the GTD man. He just gets things done.
That's right. Yeah. Now, we won't get into that because we'll get sidetracked completely.
Yes, and a new one for you, Tony, ransomware.
Yeah. Have you come across this, Darrel?
No, not at all. It's a new one.
Well, this is a cracker. I was listening to, listening and reading to a show. Now, what ransomware? I'm going to go really quickly on this because you know how we get carried away and I get sidetracked completely. Ransomware. There are guys out there. You know how we use encryption to look after our data? Well, there are guys out there now, mainly from Russia, and what they do, and they're hiding this little tool inside mainly PDFs. And if you get a suspect PDF, what'll happen is the PDF will open, and it's Windows at the moment, I believe. It'll install this app on your computer, and what the app will do is it won't destroy anything, but it'll actually go through and it will encrypt your whole hard drive. So it actually takes a while to do it.
And holds you to ransom.
And once it's encrypted, you will then get communication back saying you need to pay us this much money if you want your hard drive back. And there is no way to unencrypt it. And you either have a backup of your data and you wipe your machine, or you pay for the encryption key. That is a cracker.
They're pretty ingenious. The the Russians, they seem to be able to make money out of most things.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's more than just the Russians, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it seems a bit like the Wild West over there, though. I think with as far as it's the Cyber West, I think.
Yeah,
there's lots of hackers out of Russia.
I'm going to make a prediction. This is my prediction for 2011. We'll see that story on A Current Affair in August next year.
All right, fair enough. All right, we'll keep going with a few of the highlights. The ICT Innovation Fund, $40 million. I don't know if I saw a drop of it.
Yeah, I think it's disappeared and gone quiet, and it's dropped. The national curriculum, that's kind of been announced, then put on hold, then announced. So we'll keep our ear to the ground on that. We looked at Mersby, which is a bit of a growing
question and answer site for VCE students.
Yeah, and that's had a couple of good raps. There's been Twitter. Twitter's just kept going through. We've had robot teachers, Darrel, the National Broadband Network.
Yes, that was from Japan. NBN, I'm still waiting for my connection.
Yeah, I think we'll be waiting for a couple of years. Did we mention the iPad? I think we did.
Again, this is a year of the iPad.
Yeah, it is. We had the Death Star Canteen. Our school libraries needed some help.
Yes, Death Star Canteen. Great little video from Adrian Bruce.
Yes, we had the ACEC conference, and our podcast episode in April where we looked at other podcasts was a big hit, and lots of people got a lot out of that. So we'll have to do something again.
Yeah, that was good fun. That added a few more podcasts to my library for sure, my iTunes.
Yeah, it did. And we've had the Horizon Report. We talked to Katie with Music Mayhem, Facebook privacy, Bector.
Yes, Bector. All the people in the UK, Bector gone.
Yeah. Now, Darrel, I did a basic count. I think we talked about or covered 578 links this year, and looked at about.
We have to thank our listeners for that because we didn't collect 578.
No. Our listeners, without them, this show would be very boring and quite dull and very short. And we had around 320 Twitter mentions, which was
that's nice.
Yeah, it's always good.
And by the way, if you retweet an EdTech Crew episode, if you retweet the Christmas special, you'll be in the running for a T-shirt, an EdTech Crew T-shirt.
That's right. Yep. So those special T-shirts, which you can actually see on one of the episodes, if you go back and have a look at one of the episodes just recently.
If you have a look at episode 146, I think I edited. If you have a look at the album art, there's one on there.
Yeah. Now, Darrel, we also had Plan B.
Oh, don't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about
Plan B. August 9th. Go to Plan B. Hopefully that's past us, Tony.
Yeah.
That's one of my wishes for looking forward to next year, having a stable learning platform because this year's been plagued by technical glitches. The vision's been right, but it's been a hard road.
Yes, it has. Now, we also had Brettanomyces.
Yeah, no, I didn't look this one up. Remind me again.
That's the yeast or the fungi or the bacteria in the beer.
Yes.
How could you not remember that? That's an important one.
Good stuff. And Tony, this would have come. The 213 videos. I reckon 200 of them would have come from you.
Oh, maybe they might have come. We've got a good one. We've got a cracker for the end of the show today that people need to go and have a look at. You talked about Web 2 suicide.
Yes, I did, about completely doing away with Facebook. I'm still there, but I don't use it a real lot. But yeah, you can commit Web 2 suicide if you need to.
And then, Darrel, I think towards the end of the year we've just gone virtual world mad, and it's been quite good fun.
Yeah, but we've had some fantastic interviews. I think towards the end of the year you've cranked up, and we've had 8 interviews for term 4 or something big like that. So well done for getting most of those organised, and the people we've had on have been fantastic, and it's really sort of pushed my thinking and sort of opened up quite a few new ideas for me, Tony.
Yeah, now, we've actually, just in the chat room, and we might get this person to jump on and have a quick chat. Dean Groom has just mentioned, and this is really important, I'd even forgotten this, that Web 2 is over. But, Darrel, we're going into a new decade.
Ah, yes. Yes, so we should stop talking about 21st century learning because we've been here for 10 years. We should just be getting on with it.
We should be. Now, we're just going to see if Dean Groom's around and available and quickly drag him in. And have a chat. Now, Darrel, one of the things that's really important to us is just to say thank you to all our listeners and those that have contributed to the EdTech Crew. It's without them, the show would be pretty ordinary. Thank you to all our listeners and those that have contributed.
Hello, I think Dean's got the stream going at the same time.
He has, I think. The show would be pretty ordinary. Good morning, Dean, and welcome.
Hello, Dean.
Yeah, I'll get rid of that. Hang on.
Yeah. Well, Dean's getting organised. There's quite a bit of chat around the Web 2 suicide. Riz says it takes ages to actually get into, and I think Ben mentioned up here somewhere that it was a bit of a scam, the old web. I'm not sure if that's the same thread, but anyway.
Yeah,
just trying to find it there.
I haven't tried to do my Web 2 suicide yet, Darrel. I'm still wedded to some things, so not ready to just commit it yet.
Yeah. So are you there now, Dean?
I am.
I am. And Web 2.0's dead, Dean?
I think we should be looking beyond it. I think we recycled it for a decade, and we maybe need to think about interrupting it and doing something new. It won't hurt.
Okay, good stuff. A different perspective. Now, Dean, we're finally in world, and I know we're noobs and that sort of thing, but you've certainly pushed Tony, because Tony's back doing his World of Warcraft.
Awesome. What level are you now?
I think I'm a 12.5 Wargren, so I've actually struck a place where I think I need to work in a team, so that's my next challenge.
Yeah, that happens about level 12 to 15. You've got to start working with other people. So
Yeah.
you learn how to play on your own. Now you've got to learn to play with others.
Yeah, so I'm just at that part, and so I'm looking forward to that. But hey, Dean, we wanted to ask you a couple of questions just about your year and what's been a highlight for yourself this year.
I think the highlight for the year I think it's been seeing some of the stuff that Mac ICT Centre's been doing around using Xbox programming and stuff like that, and seeing them introducing game-based learning, and seeing a lot of people coming in looking at game-based learning that maybe never even looked at Web 2.0 kind of tools. So I think throughout the year I've seen a general rise in people looking in that area, which I think has been great. And the other thing which has been awesome this year, of course, is that with the State Library of Victoria and the History Teachers Association and Joe Kay and Mark Pesci, we've had a rather large grant to build a virtual world under the Fuse project in Victoria around the Point Nepean immigration story down in Melbourne. So that's a huge project that we're working on.
Oh, I didn't realise you guys were involved in that, Dean. I saw that presentation the other day. That looks really exciting.
It's pretty good because we're taking a lot of risks with it, but it's really based around a lot of the ideas we've had for a while around what makes games work. So it's going to be for K-12. It's going to be open, and it's going to do heaps of stuff. So that's been really exciting personally. But generally, I think this year I've really enjoyed watching people sort of changing the conversation. There's been lots less talking about bloggings, wikis and stuff, and lots more people really pushing the envelope. So, and I think some of the stuff you see in the EduBlog Awards is kind of reflecting that. Yeah,
it's you're right. And I guess, Dean, we should have asked the question, pose the question, what are you looking forward to next year? But what are you looking forward, we should have said, what are you looking forward to in the next decade as well? But next year, what are you looking forward to?
I'm hoping Santa's going to bring me the Xbox Kinect.
Your kids listening?
No, I hope not. I mean, work-wise at Macquarie, we're introducing Moodle 2, and it's almost a greenfield build. So we're taking the core stuff that's in Web 2, and we've got like 20 new staff starting to start building Moodle 2 blocks and instances and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
And then do something like 3,000 courses, Dean, to convert?
No, more like 90,000 courses. 90,000. There's a lot of courses, there's a lot of legacy, and so there's a lot of work in it moving, from migrating from one large system to another. There's a lot of work in it, but at the same time, we've been working with that. It's really great to see a large institution starting to work with an even larger community. So it's going to be a real big culture change for us. I'm kind of looking forward to that. But mostly I'm looking forward to Xbox.
And they connect. Good stuff.
Well, Dean, thank you for jumping on and joining us today and coming in World. And, I guess for us, you've, been a whole group of people towards the end of the year that have really opened our eyes around this, and we'll certainly be doing a lot more. So we really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good Christmas and New Year.
To you guys, thanks for taking the scary plunge of jumping into the virtual worlds of avatars and scary orcs and dragons.
Yeah, it's not really that scary, is it, once you get going?
And it's good fun. And I'm looking to doing some more building and trying out that Scratch stuff as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Dean. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great Christmas.
See you guys.
Thanks, Dean.
Now, Darrel, just while we're talking, and before we finish up, we'll try and grab Lucy and Tess on one more time. I've just noticed.
I had one more question for Tess if she's still about.
Yeah, we'll quickly grab her on. But while we do that, Darrel, I've just seen something come over the Twitter stream and come out. Did you know that Delicious is going to be culled?
Oh, no. Yahoo owns it at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, apparently, as reported on Gizmodo, it's looked like as part of some organisational streamlining, Yahoo is going to kill off Delicious, which is, I guess...
There's a lot of educational bookmarks in Delicious. Like, I mean, most people nearly all started in Delicious, and then quite a few of us have moved over to Digo, but it's got the facility where you can actually keep your Delicious account ticking along as well.
Yeah, and to tell you the honest truth, I'm not surprised, because Yahoo's actually never really gone and invested in to grow Delicious.
Yeah, they sort of did one makeover of the site when they got it, and have never really leveraged the people power and the crowdsourcing that's there, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I think they really missed the boat when they acquired it, which is a bit disappointing, and there'll be lots of people all over the world that'll be a bit upset about that. Yeah,
and look, they could have done the Digo thing and kept Delicious ticking along and have some premium features, and the people that are really into Delicious would have been prepared to pay for them.
Yes.
They have a business model.
Yeah. Now, Darrel, we might drag Lucy back into the conversation. Now, Darrel, unfortunately, I think Tess has actually left
she's gone.
the building.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate having Tess on today. It's great to hear student voice.
Yeah. Lucy, welcome back.
Hi, Tony.
And Lucy, we've just, I guess you've heard, we've talked to Steve and Dean just recently, and we were asking what was the highlight for their year and what are they looking forward to next year. What are those for you?
Oh, well, highlight definitely our OpenSim project. It's definitely been one of the, and I say this a lot, that I've had the opportunity to work on lots of really exciting projects over the long time that I've been in education, but this has been just the most exciting, without doubt. I've loved it. And next year, I'm moving into a new role next year, so I'm really excited about that because I'll have even more opportunities to implement some exciting programs and perhaps looking at a little bit more at games-based learning, which we haven't really touched on very much here. So I'm super excited about next year. Super scared, but super excited.
Oh, fantastic. And, we look forward to hearing more about your role next year, Lucy, and I guess maybe some of the learning environments that you start to build.
Yes, definitely. I love to keep in touch. A big part of the vision that we have is for increasing the number of e-learning opportunities that we have for our students. So I'm really excited and really grateful to the school too for giving me the fabulous opportunity that we'll have next year.
Yeah, and we have to say thank you to Ballarat Grammar for helping with some of the organisational stuff of today, and your time, Lucy, for this this experience. Has been great.
Yeah, it's been excellent.
No trouble at all, and special thanks to John Wilson from Online Events, who's just been a dream to work with, and the live stream's been awesome. Also really grateful, if I can just mention it, the continued support that I get from the school, especially from our IT team that we've got here, and my director of ICT, Nathan Burgess. He's always here to support everything that we do. And when I went to him and asked if we could engage the services of John, he said absolutely no problem at all. So thanks very much to everybody here too.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully over the holidays we might grab some of that video of John, and we'll put together a little package about all the wonderful exhibits from your other schools and all of the work that's gone into building the set in World. And I presume it'll stay, will it, Lucy? The set that we've got.
Yes, I'll leave it on there certainly over the next few months. Next year, I do have a VCE student who's interested in developing her own virtual world art gallery, which might possibly be on Begonia Gardens. But certainly that was, the whole idea behind it, that we would leave the set there, and more than happy for people to be able to visit, so people from anywhere around the world.
That's great. We could, we could leave a link. Can you actually, you can create Second Life links, can't you? Like to an OpenSim project sort of thing? Like they've got coordinates, that
yes.
sort of thing?
They do in Second Life. They have what they call
swirls.
Swirls, yes. I don't know if I can actually do that in OpenSim, but certainly it's still pretty easy for people to actually go straight to Begonia Gardens.
All right, excellent. There's no way to package up a whole world, is there, Lucy?
Yes, we can do all sorts of things to transfer. So we won't ever lose this content completely. I'll be able to transfer the items across. With OpenSim, you do have the ability sometimes to be able to archive off a sim as well. So we'll
awesome.
never lose. Yeah, we will never lose this completely. We won't ever have to tear it down and then it's gone. We'll always have the ability to have it back. You're looking very scary on the live stream.
Which one of us?
Now, just while Darrel's flying around and practicing, we'll make sure all the links and stuff that we've talked about today will be up on the show notes, and also on the show notes at edtechcrew.net, Darrel. We've got a list of all the guests that we've spoken to this year. There's been about 23, 24 of them, and hopefully we've covered off everybody. I'm pretty sure we have. And we've got a list of a lot of our contributors. Now, if we happen to have missed you, then please accept our apologies, but we really appreciate all the people that have taken the time to listen or contribute to the show, and without your involvement, like we've said before, that the show would be pretty ordinary and unexciting.
That's right, Tony, and I think I was waiting for you to ask me what my highlight of the year was, and my highlight of the year is actually the community around the EdTech crew and the people we've interviewed and the people that we've had contact through Twitter, through blog comments, through direct emails. It's been a fantastic year, and I really appreciate that, and I really thank you for keeping me going every week to do a podcast, Tony.
I think it works both ways. It's okay. The motivation comes both ways. The year, I think that for the year and highlight for me, Darrel, the iPad's been a pretty major step in changing people's thinking, and I'm still getting my head around it all and what it means. And I think it's still got a long way to go. And next year, a little bit like Dean, I think I'm interested to see where the Connect goes. I think it's going to make huge changes, potentially, to education and what we do, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Connect is capable of doing, and outside of that, there's always the standard usual things that you get excited about.
Excellent. Now, it wouldn't be an EdTech Crew show if you didn't throw in a video for us to finish the year up on, Tony.
No, yeah, we've got a video to go and have a look at. Now, this is Zeitgeist 2010, the year in review from Google. It's had, I think, over 1 million views already. If you haven't seen it, it's been doing the rounds a little bit. Go and have a look at it. It's actually quite a good little video, just a snapshot of the year we've had. Not really around education, but just around the year in general, and it just shows you how quickly and what's happened this year. It's been a fairly big and amazing year, and the end of a decade.
It is, Tony. So I'm just still trying to follow the chat here, Tony. It's and we're going to try a few things next year, Tony. We're going to try and get it a little bit more interactive at various times, and we're also looking at changing up the website a bit. So if a few things get broken over Christmas, I'm sure we'll have it fixed again by January, February.
Yes, Darrel. Yeah, we're going to mix up the show a little bit and try and become a little bit more inventive. I think, as Dean said, try and shake things up.
He told us to level up.
Well, he did. Well, maybe we need to level up.
To continue with radio or to blend in with the live virtual. All right, Dean, we'll take that on board. And everybody who's listened to the EdTech Crew throughout this year, thanks very much. And we'll catch up with everybody again in 2011. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thanks, Darrel. Thank you, John, who's in the background.
Yes,
and
thank you, John,
Lucy, for today.
And thank you, Lucy, once again. Fantastic. Cheers, everyone.
See everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.